Yo, what is really good, my dudes? Welcome to another RuneScape news coverage video. Following more coverage of the stream the other day, we're going to be talking about Seekers and Soulgazers. Let's get it. So in case you don't know, Seekers and Soulgazers are both Slayer creatures you can be found within dungeoneering in the floors themselves while you're doing dungeoneering. So what they're going to be doing is adding them as Slayer tasks in the open world, retaining their Slayer level of 71 for Seekers and 99 for Soulgazers. So a bit of background information: in order to access these, you're going to need to have completed the quest Dishonor Among Thieves, as you're going to need to have access to Zamorak's dungeon post quest in Demonheim. Now after you complete this quest, there's now going to be a new doorway once this goes live, leading to the Seekers and Soulgazers. So upon entering this area, you're going to see this room here, big open area where the Seekers are roaming around. The portal in the middle. Now this is still placeholder. It doesn't mean this is necessarily going to be the final build. This is an area that mod AOB is currently working on, so it's going to look really amazing. This is the same JMod that did the Lost Grove. That looks awesome. And the same JMod that is doing a lot of the area details and making it look pretty for the upcoming deep sea fishing area that already looks phenomenal. So this new Slayer area is going to look great. Anyways, like I said, a lot of the Seekers are going to be bundled in the lower half of the dungeon. So this is the 71 Slayer creature that you can kill at that level. If you're looking for a Slayer assignment, you're just going to be getting a Stalker assignment that will cover both Seekers and Soulgazers. So if you get a Stalker assignment, you could choose to kill either of the two. It's important to note that you do not need to be on task to kill these, so you can just kill them as you wish. Don't have to wait to be assigned a Stalker assignment. So the Soulgazers are going to be towards the back of the dungeon. Now I've said these are level 99 to kill, just like you are in Demonheim, so expect no different. I've talked about this in the past, but they will be dropping the tier 80 Hex Hunter bow, similar to the bow that you've seen within dungeoneering, however slightly different. It's going to be a level 80 bow for fighting any monster in the game normally. However, if you're fighting a monster that happens to be a magic user, it's going to be buffed. They didn't really delve into it, but they said either tier 90 or tier 92 in terms of damage and accuracy. So it's going to get a massive buff against magic users. Additionally to that, it's going to be getting a buff to creatures that are specifically weak to arrows. So it's going to get a massive accuracy bonus, not a damage bonus, but an accuracy bonus on top of the buff to being a magic user if it happens to be weak to arrows. Now there is no ammo for this weapon currently in the game, as there is no tier 80 arrows. However, when you're killing these creatures, both the Seekers and Soulgazers, you're going to be getting Seeker Essence that, when combined with Dark Arrows, will buff them to a tier 80 ranged weapon. They did note that this is actually pretty decent fletching XP if you happen to have the Dark Arrows ready and the Essence to simply combine them, the two. It's going to come out to be some pretty decent fletching XP, so keep that in mind. So yeah, it's going to be a very niche weapon, but it might be very powerful. Could take it to like Yakamaru potentially and do some pretty impressive DPS. Maybe even the Magister boss or Nex or any other boss that happens to do magic damage. You're probably not going to get that accuracy buff to these bosses, as they do have no particular weakness in terms of any one given style or type of weaponry or anything like that. So you might not get the arrows affinity buff, but you will get the damage and accuracy buff from having them being magic users. So I really don't know how that's going to play out. It's really interesting to see how powerful it is against those types of creatures. However, any specific weak to arrow Slayer mob or anything like that, these are going to be phenomenal and extremely powerful. So this is going to be the go-to weapon, the Hex Hunter bow, for those type of creatures. Just note that the Hex Hunter bow is only dropped by the Soulgazers. It's a really rare chance from the main Soulgazers. However, it's going to be an extremely increased chance if you're fighting an elite Soulgazer. So keep that in mind. Now, while you're killing Seekers, you're going to be getting Seeker Charms. These are important because in the back of the room near the Soulgazers, there is a portal. If you offer the Seeker Charms to the portal, you're going to get a very increased chance of spawning elite Soulgazers. So if you are after those Hex Hunter bows, you're going to want to collect these Seeker Charms, toss it into the portal, get that increased chance of those elite Soulgazers, so you have the most optimal chance of finding the Hex Hunter bow. While killing Soulgazers, you have a chance of getting a Soulgazer charm. Now it works very different from the Seeker charm, because when you get a Soulgazer charm, that simply just unlocks the baby Soulgazer pet. It's important to note that it does not have the same rarity as something like the Edemu pet. It's much more common. Not to say it's going to be extremely common or anything like that, but the Edemu pet is very, very rare. So just letting you guys know that it's not going to be on that rarity. However, still rare, but not to that extreme. Oh, and it's important to note in terms of the Slayer Codex, while they do follow under one umbrella of the Stalkers task, you do need to collect each of these, the Seeker and the Soulgazer, into the Ushabti in terms of the Slayer Codex. So it's going to add an additional 2 monsters to that codex. It's important to note that if you are somebody who's going after the full codex, or you're a trim completionist cape owner, both creatures will need to be collected. So yeah guys, can't wait for these to come in the game. I don't know anything in terms of XP you get per hour for killing these, or combat XP, etc. The HP that these monsters have, or anything like that. I do not know, as it's still a work in progress and things can change. Just keep that in mind, always that caveat with these showcases, that these are not necessarily what you're going to see 100% fully in the game when it goes live. So that wraps up the video, guys. If you enjoyed it, hit that like button. If you are not subscribed yet and you want to stay up to date on all things RuneScape related and more stream showcase coverage, then stay tuned and subscribe. Anyways, I appreciate you guys watching. I am out. Peace.